The fact that we can be in a completely cold, dark room and our sleep just doesn't go all over the place proves that that rhythm is built within us no matter what we do. If you were in a cave and you didn't have the sun as your cue, and you didn't have other people, and you didn't have like sound and hear traffic and hear like whatever, it's just like there's nothing, there's no cue whatsoever to tell you what time of day it is. And if you do that for an extended period of time, the first thing that happens is everybody sleeps like 12 hours because everybody's sleep deprived, like everybody's sleep deprived, including me and like, all the people who are doing their best, unless you're going to bed at like exactly the same time every night, exercising essentially exactly the exact same stress on your body every day, exactly the same bedtime, exactly the same wake time. You don't need an alarm clock. You feel great and refreshed when you wake up. Okay, you're probably not sleep deprived. You'd probably sleep a little longer just in that environment because you had the chance. But what happens over time, no matter kind of regardless of age or health or anything like that, people will go from that 12 hours down to about 8 hours of sleep. And if they stay in there for months, they sleep about 8 hours a night and they're awake for 16 hours a day with no cue outside. So it's 100% internal biological clocks. And so, the interesting thing about that is like, okay, we really have this biological clock and all the light is really doing is fine tuning it so that we're aligned with the planet, so that we're aligned with the sun, because we don't see well at night. And we're an animal that does better in the daytime. We're a very visual animal and we can only really see well in the daytime. So that's how we're wired, to be awake when it's light outside and to be asleep when it's dark. That's one fascinating aspect of it. The other fascinating aspect of it is that something's waking you up. And what is it? Is like, there's not literally a clock in your cells. Then your cells don't have an alarm clock. It's like, ding, 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 it's time to wake up. It's like, no, all your restorative processes happened. You did your deep sleep, you did your REM sleep, you did your longer REM and longer REM and longer REM, and then your stress hormones gradually went up. And at some point, without any external stimulus, those stress hormones were high enough to wake you up. And those stress hormones are what has me awake right now and you awake right now. And the reason you can pay attention to me and the reason I can focus is because we have stress hormones. Lots of people say, oh, cortisol is terrible. Get rid of cortisol. Like, well, cortisol is great. It's just excess cortisol is bad, like the poisons in the dose. Stress hormones keep you awake, alert, in proportion to your environment. If you're in a stressful environment, your stress hormones should be high, right? Somebody's pointing a gun at you, you want high stress hormones. You want to be fast. You want to be reactive. You want to get the hell out of it, right? If you're reading a book on your couch and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you don't need any, you don't need much stress hormone. You should be kind of chill and relax. And so like that's built into us. But it's fascinating that your stress hormones get high enough to wake you up and keep you awake for about 16 hours. And then the stress hormones automatically by themselves come back down low enough to allow you to fall asleep again. And so all we're really doing with the light modulation is we're keeping that entrained with the environment so that as a society, as a species, we've all agreed to be awake during this time and do business during this time and all interact and communicate at this time. And not everybody's not on their own schedule, which is what would happen otherwise. And that proves that you need 8 hours of sleep. And that proves that that's the ideal amount of sleep to have. And that proves the utility of stress hormones without you having to measure or know anything about them. It's like, okay, well, the stress hormones are what's keeping me awake. And I'm feeling a peak of energy and productivity or 3 p.m., 4 p.m. or something like that. That's the peak of my stress hormones. It's the peak of my cortisol curve for that day. And then it's going to drop back down no matter what I do, unless I'm doing something that deliberately gets in the way of that, right? So if I'm healthy, the whole point of that is like, if I'm healthy, my sleep-wake cycle just happens. And it happens that you sleep 8 hours and you wake for 16 hours. That's what it means. You can argue that all you want to, but that's the ideal human condition. And all the cave type environments have proven that.